Top 10 Celebrities with Criminal Records. Hey everyone, welcome back to Creepshow. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of celebrity scandals. It's easy to forget that even our favorite stars have their own flaws and make mistakes just like the rest of us. From altercations and drug possession to speeding tickets and tax evasion, some celebrities have had more than their fair share of run-ins with the law. In this video, we'll be exploring the pasts of some of the most intriguing celebrities who have been arrested, discovering that despite their current success, they all have interesting yesteryears. You might be surprised to learn what some of these stars were up to when they were young and wild. Could your favorite celebrity be on this list? Stick around to find out. Number 10. Bruno Mars behind bars. In addition to his lyrical tenor voice, Bruno Mars is one of the most compelling singers in the world. When he is not mesmerizing listeners with his singing, he attracts them with his iconic jazzy dance movements. In the year 2010, the actor who played the role of Locked Out of Heaven came dangerously close to being arrested for felony narcotics possession charges. All renowned people enjoy going out and having a good time, and when they are in Las Vegas, often known as Sin City, wealthy people are notorious for partying excessively. The enjoyment that Bruno Mars was having at the Hard Rock Hotel Casino in 2010 was abruptly cut short when more than 2.5 grams of cocaine were discovered in his restroom. Bruno Mars went along with the situation and entered a guilty plea to the allegations of drug possession, which resulted in an early conviction. The evidence was stacked more and more against him. The Grenade singer was given a fine of $2,000 and was had to perform 200 hours of community service, both of which he swiftly ended up doing. In 2012, the court decided to remove the felony charges against Mars, putting an end to his problems. In subsequent interviews, Bruno Mars stated that the encounter left him with the realization that fame could be taken away at any moment. A vital lesson was imparted to him as a result of the occurrence, and ever since then, his professional life has been on an upward trajectory. It is possible that the universe is trying to urge us to alter our behavior when we experience negative events. Number 9. Khloe's police station selfie. There is no doubt that Khloe Kardashian is a reality star, and she is well known among her followers. She is also one of the famous Kardashian sisters, so her celebrity cannot be disputed. On the other hand, the star of Keeping Up with the Kardashians is subject to a certain amount of scrutiny because of her status as a celebrity. During the year 2007, Khloe Kardashian was involved in a legal dispute that resulted in a notorious charge of driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Following her conviction for driving under the influence of alcohol, Khloe Kardashian, who is affectionately referred to as Coco by her family, found herself on the wrong side of the law and was sentenced to 3 years of probation. Khloe was sentenced to 30 days in prison and participated in an alcohol treatment program in 2008 after she violated the terms of her probation. Probation is a difficult process. On the other hand, Khloe's family is not shy about making fun of her little time spent in jail because she is a reality star. One of the things that Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner do in their houses is exhibit a framed picture of her mugshot because they found her arrest to be humorous. At least her family was able to find something to laugh about as they were eating Christmas dinner together. Number 8. Desperate housewife. Desperate for college acceptance. As an actress, Felicity Huffman has been the recipient of a large number of nominations and awards, so she is not a stranger to being in the public eye. Huffman became a well-known figure as a result of her work on the television shows Desperate Housewives, American Crime, and Sports Night, but no role could have adequately prepared her for developing a criminal record. Felicity Huffman was charged with mailing fraud, conspiracy to commit mail fraud, and an exam cheating scandal in 2019. These charges were brought against her in 2019. Felicity Huffman is a devoted mother, but in 2019 she got into controversy for paying more than $15,000 to a proctor in order to ensure that her daughter's wrong SAT questions would be passed. It was determined that Huffman was responsible for paying for her child to attend college, in the case that is now considered to be the largest college admissions cheating case in the United States. Huffman was sentenced to a total of 14 days in prison, in addition to performing 250 hours of community service and paying a fine of $30,000. Number 7. Stephanie Pratt has sticky fingers. Because of her role in the reality show The Hills, Stephanie Pratt became a well-known television personality and became a household name as a result of her appearances on the show. On the other hand, Pratt's history is fascinating because she is familiar with what it is like to be on the wrong side of the law, much like the majority of the celebrities on this list. Pratt was arrested for possessing stolen property in the second degree when she was 20 years old. Stephanie Pratt and her companion went to a clothing store, and when they were there, they were a little too cheeky. Shopping is something that every female enjoys doing. A total of $1,300 worth of clothing was stolen by them, and they were caught red-handed. After additional investigation, it was discovered that Pratt was carrying cocaine in her purse, which became a part of her record as well. Pratt has managed to stay out of trouble over the course of her career, but in 2009, she was taken into custody on suspicion of driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs after attending a birthday celebration. A well-known statement made by Stephanie Pratt is that she referred to her incarceration as a blessing, since it served as a reminder to her that she should not fall apart. A method for maintaining a positive attitude in any circumstance. Number 6. Stealing in suspenders. During his golden years, Larry King was a renowned figure, and his background was also quite interesting. He was as famous as celebrity journalists get, and his past was pretty interesting as well. Grand larceny was the allegation that was brought against Larry King in 1971, when he was 38 years old and had been arrested. According to the allegations that surfaced in the media, King was accused of stealing money from Louis Wolfson, who was both a friend and a business associate of his. In spite of the fact that the case was dismissed a year later, King was unable to find work in the media for a considerable amount of time due to the uproar that it caused. 4 years later, King would reclaim his foothold since he became a host for South Florida radio as the host of the Sports a la King talk show. This was the beginning of his comeback. It is a well-known fact that horrible tales may happen to anyone, and Larry King, who is better known for his long-running show on CNN called Larry King Live, exhibits this fact. Number 5. Bill Gates, speed demon. When it comes to wealthy celebrities, Bill Gates is considered to be one of the most modest famous persons in history. Despite the fact that he is extremely wealthy, he is described as being extremely humble. In spite of this, the man who is hiding behind the geeky appearance is a regular guy who, when he was younger, was a rebel and loved driving fast vehicles. In the year 1975, Gates was taken into custody for driving without a license, exceeding the speed limit, and ignoring stop signs. After being arrested by the Albuquerque Police Department, the ever-jovial founder of Microsoft was had to take a mugshot. This arrest was the first of 3 that the department would make. Within the now famous mugshot, Gates can be seen smiling, which is consistent with his brand. The charges of speeding and driving under the influence of alcohol were brought against Gates once more in 1979 and 1989, but they were later reduced. One of the most encouraging pieces of information is that Bill Gates did not get wounded in any of the situations that occurred, and he was not engaged in any accidents. Beginning in the 1970s and continuing into the 1980s, Gates has devoted his life to charitable giving, and the work that he has done with the Melinda Gates Foundation is evidence of this. One must admit that when all is said and done, no hero is truly a saint. Number 4. Put your pants on, McConaughey. In front of the camera, Matthew McConaughey is a genuine charmer, and for those who adore him, he could play any character and win an Oscar for it. The Gentleman, a film directed by Guy Ritchie and released in 2019, stars Matthew McConaughey as a wealthy marijuana kingpin. McConaughey's outstanding performance brings to mind an event that occurred in his professional life many decades ago. The arrest and subsequent charges of possession of marijuana and drug paraphernalia were brought against McConaughey in the year 1999. The neighbors filed a noise complaint on that fateful night, and when the police arrived, they searched McConaughey's Texas home immediately after they arrived. After discovering that McConaughey was not only dancing and playing the bongos loudly, the typical police call quickly developed into a tense situation. Moreover, they discovered that the actor had drugs on the premises of the apartment. In addition to all of that, it is said that McConaughey disregarded the officer's demands to put on his pants and even shoved him while he was making an effort to resist arrest. As was to be expected, McConaughey was booked, and after being held in jail for 9 hours, he was released on a bond of $1,000. In a fortunate turn of events, the narcotics charges were eventually dropped after the actor from Beach Bum entered a guilty plea to the noise complaint. The noise offense resulted in McConaughey paying a fine of $50 in the end. Number 3. Wesley Snipes takes on the IRS. With a 5th-degree black belt in Shotokan Karate, Hapkido, Capoeira, and Kung Fu, Wesley Snipes is widely considered to be one of the most formidable performers working in the film industry. Snipes is a walking dangerous weapon who can boast that what he accomplishes on television is not fiction. However, in a technical sense, he is a walking monster. Regrettably, despite his prowess as a fighter, Snipes was unsuccessful in a highly publicized struggle with the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, and was ultimately found guilty of 3 charges of misdemeanor. It was determined that Snipes had committed tax evasion for the money that he had made between the years 1999 and 2004, which was a time period during which he had earned close to $40 million but paid no taxes. Apparently, Snipes was able to avoid paying $7 million in unpaid taxes, which is an enormous amount of money. The actor placed the responsibility for his problems on his accountant and tax advocate as the case progressed, and when it came time to hand down their sentences, they were all found guilty together. Snipes went back to court to challenge the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, but he was unsuccessful once again. He had already served 2 years in jail and 1 year in home confinement. Since the scandal, Wesley Snipes has appeared in a number of noteworthy films such as The Expendables 3 Inches and the star-studded Coming to America, which will hopefully assist him in finding a more amicable resolution to his financial obligations. Number 2. Who's been sleeping in my bed? Robert Downey Jr. is one of the highest-paid performers in the history of the industry, and his pleasant personality on screen never fails to keep moviegoers riveted to the screen with his performances. The actor who played Iron Man, however, was a different person in the 1990s due to the fact that he had been arrested on drug and weapon charges at one point. During the 1990s, Downey led a fast-paced lifestyle, and as a drug addict, he frequently engaged in activities that were inherently dangerous. After being pulled over on Sunset Boulevard in 1996 for speeding, Downey was subjected to a search by law enforcement, but they were unable to prevent him from being arrested. Heroin, cocaine, and a revolver with a .357 caliber that was not loaded were discovered in the possession of the actor from natural-born killers. After a month had passed since the initial incident, Downey was taken into custody once more, this time for trespassing into the residence of a neighbor while under the influence of a narcotic. The home was searched, and the actor was discovered asleep in one of the beds. After the arrest, Downey was given a sentence that required him to serve a period of 3 years in jail at the California Substance Abuse Treatment Facility. Since that time, the actor has triumphed over his addiction and regained his position as a universally respected actor by putting in a lot of effort, remaining determined, and receiving assistance. Avengers: Endgame is a film produced by Marvel Studios in which Downey saves the entire planet by defeating Thanos. At the same time that Downey is fighting against drug and substance misuse, the classic scene is just as convincing. Number 1. The Prince of Bel-Air gets fresh. Will Smith is a multi-talented individual who is widely regarded as one of the most adored individuals on the globe. He is a rapper, an actor, and a film producer, among other things. Will Smith, despite his charming appearance on television, has a troubled history. When he was younger, he was arrested for criminal conspiracy and aggravated assault. This has left him with a dark past. In 1989, the celebrity found himself on the wrong side of the law as a result of his involvement in an assault. On that fatal day, the star of Men in Black had just won a Grammy Award, and after getting into a dispute with a record promoter, things escalated from bad to worse in a very short amount of time. Due to the severity of his injuries, the sufferer came dangerously close to losing his vision. As a result of the allegations that he had directed his bodyguard to assault the producer, Smith, who was only 20 years old at the time, was accused of participating in a criminal conspiracy. As luck would have it, the accusations against Smith were dropped not long after, which prevented him from having to serve any time in jail. Every single one of us has regrets, and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air can look back on the occurrence as if it were a skeleton concealed in his closet. Now, seeing everything that he has accomplished today, the only thing he can do is blame the record on the naivety of youth. And that wraps up our countdown of the top 10 celebrities with criminal records. These stories remind us that even the most glamorous lives can have their share of challenges and mistakes. It's fascinating to see how these celebrities have learned from their pasts and, in many cases, used those experiences to become better versions of themselves. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Creepshow for more intriguing content. Let us know in the comments which celebrity story surprised you the most, or if there's anyone else you think should have made the list. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.